Together with him, we can do anything.
Welcome to the Together with Him podcast, where we tell stories about the faithfulness of God and the songs He's inspired us to write and sing. We are three siblings raised in a musical and faith-filled home on the Canadian prairies. Get to know us as we start this new adventure together with Him.
Nothing we can do together with you. Together with him, we can do.
Hello, I'd like to give a warm welcome to all of our listeners. Today we are excited to talk about the song Rifted Rock. And I'm here with Sonia and Kelly, my siblings, and we're really excited to talk about why we felt this was a significant song to put on our legacy project. Sonia, would you mind sharing why we were so excited to put this on our EP?
Yeah, sure. Basically, this hymn is a beloved hymn for Mennonites. And we have various touch points with the song ourselves. And as we've even, I think just sung it together now, it's just become even more special. So I think we'll get more into the answers to that probably as we go along, though.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
Tamara,
Yes?
I'm wondering if you could actually expand on this by just telling us what was so surprising actually to us when we we dug a little deeper into the song.
Well, we grew up thinking that it was a German song that had been translated to the English, when we discovered this hymn was written by Mary James. And she was born in Trenton, New Jersey. She belonged to the Methodist Episcopal Church, which is a little different than our background. And she was a writer and a hymn writer. And she was also part of the Wesleyan Holiness Movement. And she shared, there was a lady that she did music with for meetings at Ocean Grove. And so we discovered it was translated in 1895 by a Carl Roll. And he did translation work maybe for a hymn book publisher. It seems, because there's very little information on him, but he did German translations for a variety of hymns for Voices Together, which is a Mennonite hymnal.
So yeah, that was so surprising because I totally always thought it must have been a Mennonite, like a German thing that now came to us in English, but it was totally the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was not what I thought either, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was neat, unique. She wrote it, I think, in 1876 or something like that, so the German translation came a little while later. Why? Does anybody remember something that they saw in 1983 that contained this song?
Hint, hint, say no more, say no more. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it was 1983. It was the 80s. I was like probably 9 or 10 years old, I guess, and we saw an incredibly traumatic documentary about Mennonites, actually. I was pretty young to see it, actually. We saw it at Bridgeway Community Church in Swift Current, I believe, and it was very powerfully done. Understand it was done by a Winnipegger, David Duick.
Yeah.
With, maybe you want to talk a little bit about that in a second, because I don't know all the details, but Wow. That was a very moving and difficult thing to watch. Just to see in like front of my face what happened, the terrible things that happened to like my people. And but there was this hauntingly beautiful piece that was played
As the score.
yeah, this in the score, that when you saw the train of the Mennonites going across, like trying to get out, and there's this big gate, and it's like sort of dusky dark, and then there's this beautiful melody, and it's like hopeful in places and almost sad in places, and it's just so beautiful. And I will never forget that sound. And it was the song.
Yes, it was a beautiful sound. And the reason why they included it in the documentary, When They Shall Ask, was because often, apparently on the train, they would sing this song as they were passing under, like, or through the gate out of Soviet Russia. And I'm not exactly sure where that gate was, but just there would be all of these people singing this song as they traveled through. And I think what made it so haunting was they added more of the minor chords into that, and that just underscored the horror that they had just walked through, with being near starvation, people being kidnapped and taken away, and the trauma that comes with war, as anybody knows who has walked through that kind of trauma, with your things being destroyed and run over, and your livelihood being ripped from you because the buildings and barns are no more, or different things like that.
Yeah, and it actually feels like deja vu all over again with the war that's happened in Ukraine once again. I'm sure they're probably some of the people who have that in their lives most
Currently,
similarly,
yeah.
and most currently.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there a particular part of the song, of the lyrics, that resonated with either of you? Kelly? Sonia? Whoever?
I think, as we were talking about it before recording the show, definitely the peace that passes understanding and joy, and in his smiles, that whole contrast between the fear and the anxiety, and that verse about peace really stands out to me, and joy. And it just makes me think about how Jesus says the hallmarks of his kingdom are peace and joy and righteousness and the Holy Spirit, and they're incredible gifts that come in ways that make no sense in the middle of situations that are absolutely terrifying and anxiety producing. And yet, as I sing that verse, I just love the feelings of both peace and joy that I enter into when I sing this song, I would say as a whole, but particularly in that verse.
Yeah.
And it's such a contrast to, like, let's say the first and last verses that we each sing, which is just talking about, like, just clinging to God through the toughest times. Then all of a sudden this, it's kind of my favorite too, it's just this big peace which passeth understanding. It's just like, it just kind of just keeps I don't know what the word is, but like waves of peace and joy, and just absolute being known, like that you're loved and that you're cared for.
Yeah.
What about you, Tamara?
I loved the verse where it talks about when I'm lonely and defenseless, and my heart just wants to have that rest and peace. Because when I was a kid bullying and feeling like I didn't know how to handle all of those bullying situations, to me, it really gave me a lot of comfort to know that I could be hidden in God and be cared for and protected by Him, even though there was this outer chaos. I was still secure in knowing that I belonged to Him and that He would never let me go. So that's, to me, that's why I love singing this song. Yeah.
Yeah.
If does anybody else have anything they want to share about the significance of this? Did you have any influences while you were arranging this song that you thought about?
Yeah, actually. So again, it comes back to the piece that was in And When They Shall Ask, which was actually called, like, the whole thing in which the song was called the Mennonite Piano Concerto. And it was written by Victor Davies, who is also a Winnipegger. And I didn't even know that much about him till I was researching him a little more today, just for fun. He was going into medicine, and then I guess he ended up getting a whole music degree down in Indiana or something. And he ended up just being, like, not just, like, being a pianist and a composer, maybe a conductor too, here in Winnipeg. And yeah, he was commissioned, I think, and funded by the FAST Foundation. And so he wrote this Mennonite Piano Concerto, and it really did very well. Maybe you can talk about that a little more in a second. But so it was the soloist for the piano concerto, because the concerto is like symphony and piano, Irmgard Berg, and she was actually my piano teacher at Concord College for 2 years. Just a lovely woman. And I just saw her in January of this year, and she's still sprightly and even says she remembered me. I couldn't believe it. But anyways, one thing that I was interested in when she was teaching me was actually if I could get my hands on playing that piece in the Mennonite Piano Concerto. And it's a little crazy in a lot of places because it goes like all over the place. But I could always play the lovely, peaceful parts. And so when I was thinking of how to arrange the piano for this song, I just had to find those minor chords that were in there. And it took me a while to figure them out because I kind of gave away the piano piece. And maybe I screenshotted it, but I didn't have access to it at the time. And I just had to do it by ear and figure it out. And so I had to put that in there. And then other than that, I just wanted to make it peaceful, kind of almost like a lullaby. So it has a bit of a childlike quality to the piano piece. Very, very simple, minimalistic in the beginning for sure. And I also appreciated Josh, our producer, occasionally putting in his own little piano bits in the interludes between choruses and verses and things. He's very good at that. But those were some of my thoughts and influences.
Yeah, some fun facts about the Mennonite Piano Concerto. It is the most requested work on CBC Radio 2 in Canada. It's heard on BBC, American and National Public Radio in the US. In 1996, it was number 8 in sales on Classic FM. So, and in 2007, it was voted number 50 in the Australian broadcasting poll of listeners. So it is a well-known piano concerto that is loved all over the world, not just in the Mennonite community. So
wow. Well, it's masterfully played. And was it the London Philharmonic that recorded? Was the orchestra?
You know what? I cannot remember that detail.
I think I read that. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was. So that's pretty up there. Yeah, and then interestingly enough, I got to have a little bit of a touch point with the composer Victor Davies, because he was later commissioned actually by Irmgard's husband, Bill Berg of Concord College, to do an oratorio. And so he composed an oratorio, and it was debuted in 1996, which was my last year there. And I believe, unless I'm really mistaken, I was in the Mennonite oratorio choir that performed it at the New Music Festival. But my memory has not always served me well in that time frame. But I think it was really cool, and it was called Revelation. So it was all inspired by the Book of Revelation. So it was quite wild and beautiful. He is a very gifted composer for sure.
The libretto must have been very colorful.
Yes, libretto means words, lyrics, for anyone who's not familiar. And yeah, I still remember this one song. This is a little bit irrelevant to what we're talking about, but the part where it says "fall on us," like where people were like running because of what was happening, and they were just asking the rocks to fall on them, rather than, which is quite opposite to Jesus, our rifted rock to hide in. I mean, well, I guess in a sense, people were.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you ever get a chance, or after you listen to this, like, go take a listen to some of this music we've been talking about. Mennonite Piano Concerto, Revelation, Victor Davies.
It's
Fabulous.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
Fabulous stuff.
Yeah. Kelly, who do you hope hears this song?
Well,
Who do you think this song is for?
Well, I think we did it to honor the older generation, so certainly I'm hoping that this song finds its way to my parents' generation and older. I know my parents are getting up there, so there isn't too many that are older than them anymore, but certainly for our parents' generation, number one. But I also hope that somehow it will reach the gamut across the generations, even down to my grandchildren, as I think it's a beautiful piece and communicates some powerful truth that I hope the younger generation will grab onto and find peace and security in the truth in this song, as our forefathers and mothers did, and as I continue to enjoy the comfort and the peace and that emotional safety that I've always felt when I've sung this song. So that would be my hope.
Yeah. Well, before we end here, I just really like to share a beautiful translation of the German done by Jean Wiebe Jansen. She's a former Saskatchewanian, and she is very highly connected within the Mennonite community, in particularly at the seminary and college levels. But I'm just going to read it. Cool. When I'm lonely and defenseless, my heart longs for rest and peace. Then you spread your wings of caring, with your love you cover me. When I'm pressed by grief and trouble, you alone can rescue me. Refuge from all fears and worries, you my comfort, cover me. Confident and gently hidden, I find sweetest rest in you. Through the storms of life you hold me, Lord, your feathers cover me. When I'm in life's final moments, I will not be left alone. For your loving wings will guard me. I, your child, will be at home. Under your soft wings of mercy, my soul rests and is renewed, for you shelter me with kindness. Keep me covered close to you. And that's our prayer for all of our listeners, is that you would just find yourself covered in the kindness and comfort of God as you listen to it.
Foes nor storms assail me. storms of life are past, all secure